The rain poured relentlessly over the cracked pavement, blurring the neon reflections of the nearby diner sign. A group of bikers, soaked to their leather jackets, had just pulled over under a flickering streetlight, their engines still rumbling low like growling thunder. They were a rough-looking bunch, tattoos, chains, and faces hardened by miles of life on the road. But in that cold night, amidst the storm, something unexpected happened, something that would change all of their lives forever. Out of the shadows stumbled a little girl, no more than 8 or 9 years old, her hair dripping wet, her tiny hands clutching a worn-out teddy bear. Her eyes, trembling and desperate, met theirs. And then, with a voice barely louder than the rain, she whispered the strangest thing any of them had ever heard, "Please, arrest me." Before we go deeper into this unbelievable story, take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you believe in kindness, redemption, and the power of second chances, because what these bikers did next will restore your faith in humanity. For a moment, the bikers just stared at her. The leader, a man everyone called Hawk, removed his helmet slowly, squinting through the rain. He had seen a lot on the road, crashes, fights, betrayals, but never a child begging to be arrested. The little girl's face was pale, her lips trembling from the cold. Her clothes looked torn, and her shoes didn't even match. She kept saying the same thing, "Please. I need to be locked up. I did something bad." The words made no sense. Hawk's instincts told him something deeper was hidden behind them. The bikers weren't the kind of men most people trusted. They were part of a brotherhood known as Steel Mercy Riders, once feared outlaws who had since changed their path, dedicating themselves to charity rides, helping veterans, and rescuing abused kids. But people still judged them by their past. And now, fate had placed a trembling child right in their path. Hawk crouched down, trying to look her in the eye. Her fear was real, not the kind that comes from punishment, but from something darker. Her small body shook as if she'd been running for miles. Behind her, the street stretched into darkness, no sign of parents, no car, no home. Just the sound of rain and the faint hum of passing traffic. They took her into the diner nearby to get her warm. The waitress gave her a blanket and a cup of hot chocolate. When she finally spoke again, her words came out slow, trembling, but heavy enough to silence the whole room. I broke the law," she said softly, staring at her cup. "I ran away. I stole food. And I lied. I'm a bad person. You should arrest me before my mom finds me." Those words hit Hawk like a punch. The bikers exchanged glances, confused and uneasy. Why would a child believe she deserved to be arrested for that? Slowly, as the rain eased outside, the truth began to pour out, not in full sentences, but in fragments of pain. Her name was Lily. Her mother was an addict. Her stepfather, a violent man who came home drunk almost every night. The bruises on her arm weren't from falling, and the fear in her eyes wasn't from guilt. She had run away after he tried to hurt her again, hiding in the old bus station nearby. She hadn't eaten for 2 days, and when she finally stole a sandwich, she felt so guilty that she thought she should be punished. Hawk's chest tightened. The rest of the bikers sat in stunned silence. They weren't saints, they'd made their share of mistakes, but this little girl's pain was too much to ignore. One of them, a giant named Moose, turned away, pretending to clean his glasses, but his eyes were wet. Hawk leaned forward, voice steady but gentle. He told her she didn't need to be arrested, she needed to be protected. But Lily shook her head violently. "You don't understand," she said. "If my mom finds me, she'll take me back. And he'll hurt me again. Please, lock me up so they can't." Her plea tore through the men's hearts like a knife. These bikers, once outlaws themselves, now sat before a child who thought jail was safer than home. And in that moment, they made a silent vow, they wouldn't let her go back. They drove her to their clubhouse on the outskirts of town, a converted warehouse filled with the smell of oil, steel, and old leather. It wasn't much, but it was safe. The bikers gave her food, warm clothes, and a small room with a soft blanket. For the first time in days, Lily slept without fear. Hawk stayed up all night, staring at the rain through the window, haunted by memories of his own childhood, a father who used fists instead of words, a mother who never escaped. Maybe that's why he'd become who he was. Maybe this was his chance to do something right. The next morning, they made calls, to social services, to the police, but the response wasn't what they hoped for. The system was slow, tangled in red tape. They said they'd investigate, but it could take days. Hawk couldn't risk it. He'd seen what happened when the system failed kids like her. He decided the bikers would keep her safe themselves until something could be done. Word spread among their members. Soon, more bikers arrived, women, veterans, single fathers, all bringing something for Lily, clothes, books, a pink helmet someone found in their garage. She smiled shyly for the first time when they taught her how to rev a small dirt bike. The roar of the engine made her giggle, and in that sound, they heard something pure, a spark of childhood that life had tried to take from her. But peace doesn't last long when darkness is still searching. 3 nights later, Hawk noticed a black car parked near the road. Someone was watching the clubhouse. His gut told him it wasn't good. The next day, a woman appeared at their gate, disheveled, furious, and trembling. It was Lily's mother. Her eyes were bloodshot, her voice sharp. She screamed that the bikers had kidnapped her daughter. She demanded Lily back. But behind her, a man sat in the car, smoking, eyes cold, face hard. Hawk recognized the type. Abuser. Control freak. Monster. He stepped forward, calm but firm. He told her they'd called the authorities, that Lily would stay safe until things were sorted out legally. The woman cursed, spat, and drove off, but Hawk knew they'd be back. That night, the bikers formed a watch rotation. They stood guard in shifts, their engines humming softly like sleeping lions. The next day, police came, not to arrest anyone, but to thank them. Turns out, the man had a record: domestic assault, child neglect, theft. The cops took Lily's statement and promised protection. It wasn't an easy goodbye when they came to take her for temporary foster care. Lily cried, clutching Hawk's arm. "Will you forget me?" she asked in a trembling voice. Hawk smiled, placing his biker patch in her hand, the one that read "Steel Mercy." "Never," he said. "You're one of us now." Weeks passed. The bikers went back to their rides, their charity runs, but something had changed in them. They carried Lily's memory wherever they went. The clubhouse felt quieter, the laughter softer. Then one morning, an envelope arrived. Inside was a photo, Lily on a swing, smiling brighter than ever. She was living with a kind foster family now. At the bottom of the photo was a message written in crayon: "Thank you for arresting my fear." That simple sentence broke every heart in that clubhouse. For men who had spent years running from their own pasts, it was the first time they truly felt what redemption meant. They realized they hadn't just saved a little girl, she had saved them too. The Steel Mercy riders became local heroes. News stations told their story. Donations poured in. But for them, it wasn't about fame. They began a new mission called Ride for Lily, a program that rescued and supported abused kids across the country. Every year, they gathered at the same diner, rode the same route, and told Lily's story to anyone who'd listen. And every year, without fail, a now older Lily came to join them. She'd grown stronger, brighter, no longer the trembling girl from that rainy night. She rode behind Hawk, wearing her pink helmet and a vest with her own patch: "Steel Mercy, little sister." Years later, when Hawk grew older and stepped away from leading the club, he said something that every biker remembered forever. That night, when she begged us to arrest her, he said, we didn't put her behind bars. We arrested her pain, her fear, her loneliness. And sometimes, that's all someone needs, not punishment, but protection. The world is full of stories about cruelty, but sometimes, kindness comes from the most unexpected people. From men society once feared, came the kind of love and courage that a child had been searching for her whole life. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because acts of kindness like this deserve to be remembered and repeated. Every small gesture can change a life, just like those bikers changed Lily's. And before we end, I want to ask you something special. What would you have done that night if a little girl came to you, begging to be arrested? Tell us in the comments below. Your words might just inspire someone to be brave enough to help another. Because in the end, heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes, they ride on two wheels, carrying broken hearts back to hope.